The return of my Coin Lady channel brings me much joy. In this video, we will examine the smaller pattern, but it is crucial for us to put our best foot forward and reiterate the bigger picture in relation to HBAR and its expected direction. This is especially important on days when the market is acting in a certain way. We are aware that we are currently in an uptrend, and we also have the weekly time frame. A double bottom target is in our sights. Our previous prediction of a possible deeper correction to the previous resistance was true. Now let's shift our focus to support, which is often seen when entering an uptrend phase. However, we did examine a smaller pattern that may indicate a potential continuation to the higher even if the retreat doesn't materialize. I will examine it because it is still in good shape, and despite the price fluctuations in the cryptocurrency market, which are inevitable given the nature of the industry, and the fact that you must be aware of the beast you are dealing with in order to succeed, HBAR has held its own. So, I'd like to begin by sharing an old tweet from Eric Balanchunas, because we have some fascinating news to share with you all regarding the price. Twitter users will recognize Eric as the person to follow for all things related to exchange-traded funds, ETFs, in the US and worldwide. Specifically, when it comes to Bitcoin and crypto ETFs, he has been extremely proactive and a reliable source of information. We anticipate a rush of Bitcoin ETFs next year, perhaps not all at once. This tweet was sent by him in 2025. Litecoin, as a Bitcoin fork, and the BTC ETH combo ETF will likely be at the top of the list, followed by HBAR, as it isn't considered a security, and finally Bitcoin. Finally, XRP and Solana, which are currently the subject of legal litigation that we are all familiar with. Goodbye, Gensler. In Jeff's safer perspective today, which you can see here, we could not be happier to see the back end of these, which have been labeled securities pending lawsuits. The Safe Arts takeover on Bloomberg Terminal was, of course, James. As far as I can tell, this was a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF from hashtags. The following stop will probably be Bitwise and Franklin Templeton. The green light for crypto ETFs. Following the recent rejection of Solana files, the new SEC administration will need to assume control before giving serious consideration to either the Solana or XRP ETFs. Even back then, on the 20th of this month, that is most likely going to happen. So, that's still, like, 12 days away. Therefore, the time required to wait for a decision is not excessive. Concerning all of that, he continues by saying that there may be complicated legal matters concerning these tokens and others concerning their classification as securities that require resolution. However, the SEC may consider Litecoin, a Bitcoin hard fork, to be a commodity. Litecoin and HBAR are not being referred to as securities by the SEC. Our chances of acceptance are higher than others because Canary is the sole filer for Litecoin and HBAR, or HBAR ETF. Where there is investor demand is not apparent. Naturally, Canary Capital was a topic of discussion. They told us what they are up to. When it came to breaking through the barrier for the first Bitcoin ETFs, the CEO was unquestionably a major player. We have already covered a lot of ground about HBAR. We have already discussed these. HBAR is, in the end, definitely a status symbol. An ETF approval is highly probable. Actually, a tweet from Duncan Moyer is the reason I mention this. If you're familiar with HBAR, you'll know who Duncan Moyer is now. At Aberdeen, the biggest asset management firm in the UK, he was a senior executive. Hedera is where Aberdeen are tokenizing. Obviously, they worked in tandem with our checks. All of our checks have been questioned. Today, Duncan, who is also a board member at Hedera, shares a tweet on how excited he is to become president of 21 Shares. He expresses his anticipation of starting a new chapter in his life in Zurich and working with an amazing team. Therefore, his current situation at Aberdeen is uncertain to me. In any case, Hedera is an Aberdeen Governing Council member. One thing I can say with certainty, though, is that he is now the president of 21 Shares. Given that he is a member of the Hedera board and a strong advocate for, this is extremely significant for Hedera. Listening to him speak about it is all you need to do. Hedera is one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies, in our opinion. Yes, I think so too. Really, I believe we're going to succeed with that. We are rapidly improving, and will likely be among the top 10 before you realize it. And 21 Shares is the top provider of ETP exchange-traded products globally, in case you didn't know. In addition, as you can see, they are the 4th most successful provider of Bitcoin ETFs, and board member Duncan Moyer Hedera has just joined them as president. So big. This represents progress. Hedera is now in a strong position in the ETF battle. The implications of exchange-traded funds, ETFs, for relatively small assets releasing vast sums of money into the cryptocurrency market are profound, and I don't think many people fully grasp them. In the long run, there will be a supply shock, as the volumes we've witnessed thus far pale in comparison to what these ETFs will bring in once there's a way for large institutions, corporations, family offices, etc. to invest in the space. It's reasonable to assume that many people will be looking at Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in their Fidelity or Black accounts, and may decide to diversify by purchasing some of these assets. Think about it. If a HBAR ETF suddenly appeared, people would be interested, and maybe even more so, they would start to invest in it. As a result, I predict that billions of dollars will pour into Hedera. After you account for wash trading and some market makers, Hedera's daily volume is practically non-existent. Investing only a modest amount of money, we're not talking billions here, into Hedera can cause its price to soar. In addition to what Duncan Moyer declared essentially the other day, another pro-Hedera candidate has joined the fray, bringing the total number of pro-Hedera candidates in the ETF election up to 3. There has been tremendous news. A small number of individuals noticed it. With the exception of Duncan Moyer, we're the first to have news about it. My goal right now is to quickly cover some other news before we get into the price activity. This is all because of Solana. Intoxication is audible. Guys, don't go too high. You know, I don't really like Solana as a blockchain. Here is the cryptocurrency we desire, though. We aim to succeed as a sector, all right. Solana, in my opinion, will excel. Hardy is going to do much better, in my opinion. I am expressing my personal viewpoint. Though this is the most recent. The Cointelegraph authored this. Solana resolves scalability problems and increases network effects by processing a new, latest-based hashing algorithm. Appreciate you taking the time to view my video. Thank you for watching my channel and for subscribing. I will see you later.